It's Monday, February 8th, 2021. Another blockbuster day on Wall Street. Markets across the board up. Dow Jones closes up in the positive, 237 points, a new all-time record. Gold up around $20 today. Silver up around 55 cents. Bitcoin approaching $45,000. Tesla buys $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, plans to accept it as payment. This was great news for Bitcoin, sending Bitcoin surging. Just an absolutely incredible time we live in, ladies and gentlemen. Tens of millions of people without jobs, people wiping out their entire savings, retirement savings just to survive, people living off of credit cards, people now worried about being evicted out of their apartments, their rental properties. Yet, Dow Jones at all-time highs, stock market at all-time highs, Bitcoin at all-time highs. Such a detachment from reality. We have never seen such manipulation, trickery, fraud in markets like we're seeing today. It's just absolutely amazing. It doesn't really take a super high IQ to see that there's a huge separation between the reality of what's happening on Main Street and the real economy and what's happening on Wall Street with the stock market. CNBC today, Americans angry that they may no longer qualify for $1,400 stimulus checks. Say it feels like a targeted attack on middle class. That's on CNBC today. Yeah, it's an attack on the middle class. The middle class is being annihilated. It is shrinking. We're going to see a two-tier system here, ladies and gentlemen. The wealthy at the top and the rest of everybody else poor. Congress is considering lowering the income eligibility threshold from the third round of stimulus payments from $75,000 to $50,000 for individuals, and from $150,000 for married couples down to $100,000. Now, this may not seem like a big deal to some people, but there are millions of people banking on this money, need this money. And yet now, if you make $75,000 a year or $60,000 a year, you may not be eligible because it's not going to go past $50,000 a year for individuals. That's what they're considering right now. There are a lot of people that need help. I don't believe that the answer is just giving out free money, although I'm not saying that we shouldn't be helping people right now. But is another stimulus package going to solve the real underlying problem here with this economy? Is it really going to help people out? Maybe temporarily. But why are we not talking about long term? How's this going to get people back to work? Where is the job creation? Apparently, we are not creating jobs in America, that's for sure. We saw the last job numbers, what was it for January, where we created 49,000 jobs for the month of January. That's not a good sign. And when we're looking at the amount of people that are losing their jobs on a weekly basis, 7, 8, 900,000 a week for 11 months, this is really, really a bad indication of where we're going and where we have been going for the last 11 months. Minimum wage, $15 minimum wage. Is this going to fix the economy? No, it is not. In fact, they're talking about this economy losing another 1.5 million jobs by 2025 if we raise the minimum wage to $15. So raising the minimum wage, handing out free money to everybody, this is a temporary fix. In the long run, it is going to just decimate this economy even more than it has already been. And how is any of this going to stop the inflation that we keep seeing creep up throughout our daily lives, especially at the grocery store? And a really big question is, how is this going to help us? Minimum $15 minimum wage, stimulus checks. How is this going to help America compete against China? It's going to do quite the opposite, because all that stimulus money, not all, but a majority of that stimulus money is going to go to Target, it's going to go to Walmart, it's going to go to Best Buy, and in return, it's going to other countries like China and Asia, and it's helping their economies. It's helping their middle class. It's helping their job market, not ours. So the answer is not just giving money to people. It's not raising minimum wage. It is job creation. Good, well-paying jobs in America where people can go to work, make money, make enough money to save some money and put away for a rainy day. We have too many people in America, and we've had too many people in America living paycheck to paycheck. 80% of America in 2019 was living paycheck to paycheck. And who knows what that number is now, because we have tens of millions of people not receiving a paycheck. They're now dependent on an unemployment check. They're dependent on a stimulus check. And we are just not answering the real questions, how we're going to fix this. How are we going to get out of this depression? Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a depression right now. And I know that there are people out there that would argue that, people out there that would deny that. But the fact of the matter is this country is in a depression, and this depression is about to get much worse. And nobody is talking about how we're going to fix it, how we're going to get out of it. And the only way we're going to get out of it is by job creation, not money creation, not debt creation. The Hedge today, U.S. courts clogged up with eviction cases as activist groups fight back. Even with the moratorium, eviction courts are clogged up with cases. Despite the nationwide ban on evictions since the crisis began back in March, loopholes have allowed 250,000 tenants to be evicted in 27 states. This is nothing. This is going to get much, much worse. Ladies and gentlemen, the rubber will meet the road in America at some point. You know, at some point, the piper is going to have to get paid. People are not going to be able to live in apartments for free. They're not going to be able to live in their houses for free. And I know there's people out there that hate landlords, but there are a lot of small private individuals who are landlords who saved up every dime that they had to buy a rental property to rent out to somebody who maybe didn't have great credit, didn't have enough money to buy a house, gave somebody else the opportunity while making a business decision to buy a piece of real estate. We need those small private landlords in America. You know, people just say, get rid of all the landlords. Well, that means that you might be able to buy a house, and if you can, great, that's wonderful for you. But what about the individuals out there that can't afford to buy a house? Maybe they don't want to rent an apartment. Maybe they want to rent a small house, save up money to get on their feet to maybe one day purchase their own home. We need private landlords. We need these small landlords to give other people opportunity. These people are taking risk. You know, if you're a small landlord and you have 4 or 5 small homes that you rent out, and now your tenants aren't paying because they're not working, that's your name on the loan. Guess who gets defaulted on? Not the tenant, the landlord. And now there's 4 or 5 homes that he loses that goes back to the bank. Guess what happens to the renters? They're out. So we need that private money, those small landlords out there. They allow people the opportunity. They're a stepping stone for so many people to move up to eventually buy their own home one day. More than 40 million people owe $57 billion in back rent, and the number is growing. But there's people out there, everything's fine because the stock market's up today. Everything's okay because Bitcoin is up. Everything's okay. We got big problems, ladies and gentlemen, and we got 0 solutions. The answer is just throw more money at it, and they never tell you that this money has to be paid back. They never tell you that they're just printing this money and adding it to the debt, creating money out of thin air. They just tell you, don't worry about it. We're going to send you a stimulus check. I mean, just think about where we're at today, that people are dependent on $1,400 now. This is how critical things have gotten, that people now are literally starving for $1,400, that's actually going to help them. To me, I don't think $1,400 is going to do much. I mean, a family of four, that probably pays the grocery bills maybe for a month. I mean, they're just throwing crumbs at people. And the problem is that people are getting farther and farther behind. Their debts are increasing. They're getting farther behind on the credit card payment or the auto payment. So college tuition is in a moratorium right now. Mortgages are in a moratorium. Rents in a moratorium. What happens when all of these forbearances and moratoriums expire and the rubber meets the road? What are people going to do with all of this debt? They just believe it's going to disappear and go away, that it's all going to be forgiven, that the reset is going to work in their benefit. The reset, ladies and gentlemen, is not going to work in your benefit or mine. It's going to work in the top 1%'s benefit, okay? The big banks who will come and seize your house, who are going to foreclose on your homes, take those properties, and if you're lucky, maybe they'll rent your home back to you. This is a game that is very one-sided, and too many people just believe, I'll stop paying my credit card, I'll stop paying my rent because we're going to go through a reset and everything's going to be forgiven. Is not going to work that way. Wolfstreet.com, U.S. trade deficit in 2020, worst since 2008. And again, if you want a bellwether to where things are going, just take a look at how many people every week are losing their jobs, and take a look at the trade deficit. This is the 2020 trade deficit numbers. I'm not going to go through all of this, but I'll go through a little bit of it. We're running a $295 billion trade deficit with China, with the EU. $183 billion trade deficit. With Mexico, we are running a $113 billion trade deficit. Germany, $57 billion. Switzerland, $57 billion. Japan, $55 billion. South Korea, $25 billion. And with Canada, we are running a $15 billion trade deficit. We are absolutely getting mopped all over the floor with trade. It's really unbelievable. We are losing the trade battle hands down. We need to be manufacturing here in America. We need manufacturing jobs. You want to bring back the middle class? We must be making things. We must manufacture. I want to go over one last article. This was on CNBC. India might ban private cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and develop a national digital coin. And this is, my real big concern with cryptos. And as we're nearing $45,000 with Bitcoin, and people are going crazy and jumping up and down. And look, if you're in Bitcoin and you bought it cheap and you're at $45,000, more power to you, man. I'm happy for you. I hope it goes to $100,000 for you. I really do. But my concern is how quickly a country can just shut it off. That's nice that Tesla bought $1.5 billion, but they can sell $1.5 billion of it very, very quickly. The volatility that we've seen with cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin is troublesome. Also, the amount of cybersecurity, the hacking of people's wallets, and really the safety of it, I have a concern with it. And I'm not here to be negative about cryptos or Bitcoin, because at the end of the day, I applaud anybody getting out of the system, whether that's with gold or silver or cryptocurrencies or taking your money out of the bank. I applaud anybody thinking outside the box and just getting out of the system. But I have concerns about the safety, and I have even bigger concerns that governments like India here now possibly banning private cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. I just don't see how governments and central banks are going to allow cryptocurrencies to compete against them. So I'm a firm believer, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. I love gold, I love silver, and I believe gold and silver will have their day. And I believe that there's a reason why central banks have been stockpiling so much gold. So again, I applaud anyone getting out of the system, but I still continue to have concerns about cryptos. The amount of news that we continue to hear about, the hacking epidemic going on with cryptos, people forgetting their passwords and getting locked out and not being able to access their cryptos. So, there are some negative drawbacks. And again, I'm old school. I want to be able to put something physical in my hands. I want to put it in other locations, not just at my house. I want to have it in a variety of locations that I can get to in a time of need. And at the end of the day, gold and silver, especially gold, is recognized as real money throughout the entire world for the last 5,000 years. Silver, recognized as money, and the massive industrial use that it has. And you know, this stuff can be put anywhere. And I just like the fact that I know where it's at and I know how to get to it. And I'm not worried about somebody, you know, hacking in through a computer and wiping out my wealth. But again, I'm not opposed to cryptocurrencies. And let me remind all of you that there are people going out on many of these YouTube channels and trying to sell you Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. There's people that go continuously on this channel, use my face, my name, and try to sell you Bitcoin. I don't sell anything. I do have a link down below for SD Bullion, but you will never see me or hear me trying to sell anything to anybody. So ignore that. It's a total scam. They're doing it to a lot of other channels, and it's been going on for months. But again, as I close today, I think the most important thing, whether you are buying gold or silver or cryptocurrencies, I think that all of it is a positive thing, because you're thinking enough to get out of the system. And I think that the more we do that, the better effect it is going to have on all of our lives. Staying in the system is a guarantee. It's a guaranteed loss, because the system is going down. It is a sinking ship. And I think taking our chances, whether that be cryptocurrencies or gold or silver and hard assets, I think we're going to have a much, much better chance. For me, I'm a gold, silver, cash guy. You may be a crypto guy or gal. You might be cryptos and gold, cryptos and silver. I commend all of you for just thinking outside of the box and just getting out of this system that we all know is crashing. It's on borrowed time. The people who continue to believe in the system, who believe in the banking system, the financial institutions, the US dollar, the US economy, they will be the losers, without a doubt. They will be the losers. So I can't tell anybody what to do. I'm just, thinking outside the box, and I don't have all the answers. But again, I'm just putting away physical gold, physical silver, cash, and of course, mining stocks. But, that is money that I'm willing to gamble. That's money I can afford to lose, because they're very, very volatile, very risky. But I think that cryptocurrencies are volatile, and I think they're risky also. But if you want to take that chance, because there are going to be winners and there's going to be losers. And there's been a lot of winners in cryptos right now. And there's been winners in gold and silver. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, last year, that silver was $12. Gold back up well over $1,800 today. Silver back up over $27 today. So look, just thinking outside the box and getting out of the system, I believe that you're going to have a better chance of surviving and prospering. I will leave it there today. Have a phenomenal week. God bless you all. Share this video. Make sure you subscribe. Talk to all of you very soon.